Welcome to our English listening and reading practice. Today, we'll share The Jajangmyeon Lady and the Special Egg, a touching story set in Seoul about kindness, community, and the power of small acts to change lives. Join us as we explore this heartwarming tale of a humble restaurant owner who spreads love and hope through her delicious jajangmyeon noodles and generous spirit. Let's improve your English and feel inspired by everyday kindness. Let's begin. In the bustling streets of Seoul, there was a small, unassuming restaurant known for its delicious jajangmyeon, a beloved Korean noodle dish. The owner, affectionately called the Jajangmyeon Lady, was a kind-hearted woman who greeted every customer with a warm smile and a hearty laugh. Her restaurant was not just a place to eat, it was a haven where people from all walks of life gathered to enjoy a comforting meal. The aroma of black bean sauce wafted through the air, drawing in hungry patrons, who often left with full bellies and happy hearts. The Jajangmyeon Lady believed that food had the power to bring people together, and she poured her love into every bowl she served. One day, as the Jajangmyeon Lady prepared her famous dish, she noticed a little girl sitting alone at one of the tables. The girl looked sad and was staring at her empty plate. Concerned, the Jajangmyeon Lady approached her and asked what was wrong. The girl explained that she had come to the restaurant to celebrate her birthday, but had no money to order a meal. Touched by the girl's story, the Jajangmyeon Lady decided to do something special. She quickly cooked up a fresh plate of jajangmyeon and added a perfectly fried egg on top, a rare treat that she reserved for special occasions. As she placed the steaming bowl in front of the girl, the Jajangmyeon Lady said, "Happy birthday! This is my gift to you." The girl's eyes lit up with joy, and she couldn't believe her luck. She thanked the Jajangmyeon Lady profusely, her sadness melting away with each bite of the delicious noodles. The other customers in the restaurant noticed the heartwarming exchange and smiled, feeling the warmth of kindness that filled the air. It was a simple act, but it made a world of difference to the little girl, who felt seen and cherished on her special day. Word of the Jajangmyeon Lady's generosity spread quickly throughout the neighborhood. Soon, more people began to visit her restaurant, not just for the food, but to experience the kindness that radiated from her. The Jajangmyeon Lady continued to serve her delicious dishes, always with a smile and a kind word. She started a tradition of offering a free meal to anyone who came in on their birthday, creating a ripple effect of kindness in the community. People began to share their own stories of kindness, and the restaurant became a gathering place for laughter, friendship, and love. As the months passed, the Jajangmyeon Lady's restaurant transformed into a symbol of community spirit. Neighbors began to help each other, inspired by her example. They organized events to support local families in need, and the restaurant became a hub for charitable activities. The Jajangmyeon Lady was overjoyed to see her small act of kindness blossom into something much larger. She realized that her love for cooking and her desire to help others had created a bond among the people of Seoul, uniting them in ways she had never imagined. Years later, the Jajangmyeon Lady's restaurant remained a cherished spot in the heart of Seoul. New generations of children grew up, hearing stories about the kind lady who served the best jajangmyeon and always had a special egg for those in need. The legacy of her kindness lived on, inspiring others to spread love and compassion. In their own ways, the restaurant became a place where not only delicious food was served, but also where the spirit of community thrived. The Jajangmyeon lady may have started with a simple bowl of noodles, but she ended up nourishing the hearts of many, proving that everyday kindness can create extraordinary change. As time went on, the Jajangmyeon lady decided to pass on her culinary skills to the next generation. She began teaching cooking classes at her restaurant, inviting children and adults alike to learn the art of making jajangmyeon. With each class, she shared not only her recipes, but also the importance of kindness and community. The students learned to cook with love, just as she had always done. The restaurant buzzed with laughter and chatter as people gathered to learn and share their stories, creating a new chapter in the Jajangmyeon lady's legacy. One day, during a cooking class, a young boy named Miho shared his dream of opening his own restaurant one day. Inspired by the Jajangmyeon lady's kindness, he wanted to create a place where everyone felt welcome and loved. The Jajangmyeon lady smiled and encouraged him, saying, "If you cook with your heart and share your love with others, your dream will come true." Miho took her words to heart and began to practice diligently, determined to make a difference in his community, just like the Jajangmyeon lady had done. As the years passed, the Jajangmyeon lady's restaurant became a beloved landmark in Seoul. The community celebrated an annual festival in her honor, where people gathered to enjoy delicious food, share stories, and participate in fun activities. The festival was a vibrant display of culture and unity, showcasing the spirit of kindness that the Jajangmyeon lady had instilled in everyone. Families came together, children played games, and laughter filled the air, all while enjoying bowls of jajangmyeon and other traditional dishes. The Jajangmyeon lady's restaurant became known as the heart of Seoul, a place where people could come together to celebrate life and support one another. It was a reminder that even in a bustling city, kindness could thrive. The Jajangmyeon lady continued to serve her delicious noodles, but now she also served as a mentor and friend to many. Her restaurant was not just a business, it was a home for those seeking connection and warmth. The legacy of the Jajangmyeon lady lived on, inspiring countless acts of kindness throughout the city. One day, a new customer walked into the restaurant, looking lost and overwhelmed. The Jajangmyeon lady noticed him immediately and approached with her signature smile. She welcomed him warmly and offered him a seat. As they chatted, the man shared that he had just moved to Seoul and was feeling lonely. The Jajangmyeon lady listened attentively and offered him a bowl of jajangmyeon on the house. This simple gesture made the man feel at home, and he left the restaurant with a smile, grateful for the kindness he had received. The Jajangmyeon lady's small acts of kindness had a profound impact on the lives of those around her. People began to pay it forward, inspired by her example. They started helping their neighbors, volunteering in local shelters, and spreading joy wherever they went. The community transformed into a place where kindness was the norm, and everyone looked out for one another. The Jajangmyeon lady's restaurant became a symbol of hope and love, reminding everyone that even the smallest gesture could create a ripple effect of positivity. Years later, the little girl who had received the special egg on her birthday returned to the restaurant as a young woman. She had never forgotten the kindness shown to her and wanted to express her gratitude. As she entered the restaurant, the familiar aroma of jjajangmyeon filled her senses, and she felt a wave of nostalgia. The jjajangmyeon lady recognized her immediately and welcomed her with open arms. They shared stories and laughter, and the young woman promised to carry on the spirit of kindness that had touched her life. Inspired by the jjajangmyeon lady, the young woman decided to start her own initiative to help those in need. She organized community meals, inviting people from all backgrounds to come together and share a meal, just as she had experienced years ago. The jjajangmyeon lady supported her wholeheartedly, offering her restaurant as a venue for these gatherings. Together, they created a space where kindness flourished, and the community continued to grow stronger. As the years went by, the jjajangmyeon lady's health began to decline, but her spirit remained as vibrant as ever. She continued to inspire those around her, sharing her wisdom and love with everyone who walked through her doors. The restaurant became a place of learning, where people not only enjoyed delicious food, but also learned the importance of compassion and community. The jjajangmyeon lady's legacy of love would live on in the hearts of all who had been touched by her kindness. One day, the jjajangmyeon lady gathered her friends and family in the restaurant for a final celebration of her life. She shared stories of her journey, the people she had met, and the love she had experienced. Tears and laughter filled the room as everyone reminisced about the impact she had made. The jjajangmyeon lady expressed her gratitude for the community that had grown around her and encouraged everyone to continue spreading kindness. It was a bittersweet farewell, but her spirit would forever remain in the hearts of those she had touched. After the jjajangmyeon lady's passing, the restaurant remained open, run by the young woman who had once been a little girl celebrating her birthday. She honored the jjajangmyeon lady's legacy by continuing to serve delicious jjajangmyeon and offering free meals to those in need. The restaurant became a gathering place for the community, where stories of the jjajangmyeon lady were shared and her spirit of kindness lived on. The young woman felt a deep sense of responsibility to carry on the torch of love and compassion. As the years passed, the young woman continued to inspire others. With her dedication to kindness, she organized events to support local charities and encouraged her customers to get involved in their community. The restaurant became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that kindness could change lives. The spirit of the jjajangmyeon lady lived on. In every bowl of noodles served, every smile shared, and every act of generosity, the legacy of love and compassion continued to thrive. In the heart of Seoul, the jjajangmyeon lady's story became a cherished tale in Seoul, passed down through generations. People spoke of her kindness and the way she had transformed her restaurant into a place of love and community. Schools began to teach children about the importance of kindness, using her story as an example. The impact of one woman's love for her community had created a lasting change, inspiring countless others to follow in her footsteps and spread kindness wherever they went. Today, the jjajangmyeon lady's restaurant stands as a testament to the power of kindness. It remains a beloved spot in Seoul, where people gather to enjoy delicious food and share stories of love and compassion. The legacy of the Jajangmyeon lady endures, reminding everyone that even the smallest acts of kindness can create a ripple effect that touches lives for generations to come. In the heart of Seoul, her spirit lives on, inspiring all who enter to embrace kindness and make the world a better place. Thank you for listening and reading with us today. We hope the Jajangmyeon lady and the special egg inspired you to believe in the power of kindness and community. If you enjoyed the story, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more English practice videos filled with meaningful stories. See you in the next video. Keep practicing and keep spreading kindness.